Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to do a makeup look using my old makeup products that I have been keeping in my collection. Mainly I just buy products that I really like or products that I wanted to try. But then over the years, I've accumulated a lot of products. So these makeup products right here that I'm about to use are probably 6 years old. Majority of them are 4 years old. So without further ado, let's hop right into the video. For the primer, I have the Hourglass Mineral Veil primer, and I've had this bottle for about 4 years now, and I still have a lot left because I mainly use the travel size, and I find that quite user friendly, and it's just a lot easier to carry around rather than this bottle right here because it looks very luxurious. And I don't know, but I really love this primer, and it's probably one of the primers that I purchased the most. And by the way, for brows, the oldest brow product that I own is this one right here from BH Cosmetics, and this is the Flawless Brow Trio. And I've had this for about, I'd say, 4 years as well. So that's what's on my brows. For the eyeshadow, I actually have two that I've owned, but to compare the two, probably the longest that I've owned is this Urban Decay Naked 2 eyeshadow palette. I've had this one for 6 years, and that's when I first started getting into makeup. So this is what it looks like, and you could clearly tell which are my favorite shades. And this says that you can use this within 12 months upon opening, but then I've had it for 6 years. I've used this every now and then and nothing happened to my eyes. I mean, the shadows are still very pigmented, and they work pretty well actually. For this look, I might actually try to go bold. So for eyeshadow primer, I have this Essence I Love Stage eyeshadow base. Now, they don't sell this anymore, and I've had this one for about 3 years. This product was discontinued for some reason, and they changed it into like a paler shade, which I didn't really mind because usually I use concealer anyway, but this is one of the best and cheaper alternative if you love the paint pot. To set my lids, I am going to go and use the shade right here called Foxy. It's just your matte beigey shade, which is definitely one of the most used shade in this eyeshadow palette. I really don't want to get rid of this palette because it's very sentimental to me, because this is the main reason why I started getting into makeup. Purchased mine from beautybay.com. For the crease, I am going to use this matte shade right here called Tease, which is actually the only matte shade from the palette besides Foxy and Blackout. So this one is a nice taupey brown transition shade. The eyeshadows are still working, they're still blending, and they're still performing great. So I probably have to use this eyeshadow palette every day to try to hit pan on the shadows that I like, and then probably dispose it. To deepen up the outer V, I'm actually going to use the same shade, which is Tease, but I'll switch up my brush into a denser brush to try pack that on the outer corner. And I'm going to put a little bit in the inner corner as well. For the lid, I actually don't know what I wanted to do. I kind of want to use the Half Baked, which is one of my favorite gold shade in this eyeshadow palette. But then again, that's kind of a typical look that you would come up with. I think I am going to go and use the shade Verb, which is like a nice silver shade. That would be something different, I feel like. So I'm going to grab a flat brush. Urban Decay shimmer eyeshadows are the best because you don't need to spray them with Fix Plus. As you can see, the pigment is there. To blend the outer corners, or the corners of that shadow, I am going to go and use the shade called Snakebite. To give a little bit of warmth actually on the crease, I am going to go and use my really old bronzer, which is the MAC Darkest Deepest Mineralized Skin Finish. This is actually a facial powder, but I like using it as my bronzer. So I'll just grace this up in the transition shade to have a little bit of warmth. And then I am going to go back with a previous shade called Tease. Going back to Foxy, which is the matte eyeshadow, to highlight the brow bone. Moving on to the foundation, I have this NARS Sheer Glow foundation in the shade Syraccuse, and I've had this one for about 4.5 years. It's still pretty good. Like, it's not separating at all. It's not breaking me out. It's actually still functionable. The color is a little bit dark because it has the caramel undertone, but I love this foundation because it doesn't give me a very dewy look despite of the name being Sheer Glow. The coverage actually is medium to full coverage, which is amazing, and it feels very lightweight. It lasts decent on my skin. I have oily skin, and it doesn't break apart at the end of the day, which is pretty good. And I'm gonna go over that with a sponge just to smooth out everything. So for concealer today, I am going to go and use this LA Girl Pro Conceal. This is actually a corrector, but I use this as a concealer because it gives the same coverage as the concealer and it brightens my under eye. So I've had this product for, I'd say, 3 years. I bought it around the same time it came out in New Zealand, and I remember using this almost every day. And for powder, I have two. So I have this MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Medium Plus, and I usually use this whenever my foundation is a little bit too dark. To make the shade of the foundation, I use neutral. So this one, I actually hit pan on this one. So I had like a few left. This is probably good to go, but I just like using that one. And another powder is the Nye Banana Powder, which I'm actually halfway through, which I'm really proud of because I've had this powder for so long. So I'm going to set underneath my eyes using that banana powder. And basically the center of my face. It's a little bit messy. That's the only thing I could take out the powder. And for the rest of my face, I am going to go and use the MAC powder. I'm not gonna bake for very long, so I'm going to dust that powder right away. For bronzer, I am going to go back and use the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Dark Deepest. Slightly bronze my skin because this one is a little bit warm. So it gives a good suntan to our face. And I don't have a contour that I've had for that long because I chucked it out. I used to have the Anastasia contour cream kit, but I chucked it out because I had it for so long that it got moldy. And another old powder I have is this Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. So I am going to use this shade right here and just set this part to kind of clean up the bronze and also add a little bit of. We're going to use this as our highlight plus another highlight on top of that because I just love the glow that it gives. So it's very subtle. On top of that, I have another old product. Obviously, these are all old products, but I have this Wet n Wild shimmer palette, and this one is in the shade I'll Have a Cosmo, and I love this when I want like a wet highlight. And this is very affordable. I'm not sure if this one is available in New Zealand, but I got this online. For blush today, I am going to mix two of my oldest blush, and this is in the shade Coppertone, which is this one right here. It's like a nice, very muted peach, and this one right here, which is a little bit bright. So I'm going to mix the two together. To finish off the eyes, I am going to go back to the shade we used before, which is Tease, and just smoke out the lower lash line. I love this eyeshadow palette because the colors in here really emphasizes my brown eyes. To add a little bit of something on the lower lash line, I'm going to go and use Suspect right here, just to add a little bit of shimmer. To line my upper lash line, I'm going to go and use this shade called Blackout, which is one of the best black eyeshadow shades that Urban Decay has. To highlight the inner corner, I am going to go and use Booty Call, which is a nice champagne color. Quickly going to apply mascara. I'm not going to put any false lashes on because I'm going to take this makeup off straight away, but I'll be right back. So here is my look without false lashes on. I actually quite like it because I want the eyeshadows to really pop. So now we're going to move on to the lips. I have a few of the oldest lip products that I have. First off, I have this lip pencil right here from Essence, and I saved this because unfortunately they discontinued this shade called Honey Bun, and it's a nice brown nude shade, and it goes perfectly with Velvet Teddy. For lipstick, you'd say I'll use Velvet Teddy, but in this case, no. Actually, one of my oldest MAC lipstick is called Please Me, and this is like a... it's not mauvey pink. It's like a... just a shade of pink. I'd say rosy pink color, which I was really into back in the days. So I've had this lipstick for probably 5 years, and this is the matte formula. So this is what the lipstick looks like, and it's giving me flashback because this is actually how I used to do my makeup. And to top that, I am going to use this Napoleon Perdis Cotton Candy Lip Balm, I think, and this one is in the shade Sigrid. Now I've used this quite a lot because it's just a nice brownie nude, so I'm going to top that on top of the pink to tone it down a little bit. I am actually not sure if this eye makeup look goes with a lipstick, but that's one of the oldest makeup products I have. And for setting spray, I have this Kat Von D Lock-It setting spray, and I've had this one for about 3 years. Here is my final look. I apologize if you see a lot of bumps because my skin is not doing the best at the moment, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more updates, and I will catch with you on the next one. Bye.